উপামেকানো ভালো সিজন গেছে তাই না? ভালো 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 সিজনে গেছে। আর কোন আছে লিভারপুল প্লেয়ার কোন আছে কোন আছে মারু ভাই? না প্লেয়ার কোন আছে কোন আছে মারু ভাই? না প্লেয়ার কোন আছে কোন আছে মারু ভাই? না প্লেয়ার কোন আছে এটা খুবই এফেক্টিভ এবং খুবই মনে করি যে এই ধরনের সার্ভিস এখনো আমরা কিন্তু দেখতে পাচ্ছি না। কিন্তু কন্টিনিউয়াস একবারে সবগুলো
been at it so far. If the pep talk works, we may see a very different side second half. We need to. We're already into the second period. France don't need to press the panic button just yet. They may have to tweak their setup first if they don't grab an early goal in the second half. They can't hold back though. Lecky delivers. Now surely.
Yeah, he's fouled it there. There could be trouble here. Now the referee is keeping his cards in his pocket. Retrieve, albeit perhaps slowly. shooting chance! Gets it back. And here's Cruz. Janoub. Matuidi. Rogic. Tries to dink it in. Conte. Varane plays it forward. Mbappe. Matuidi. Hernandez. Conte tries to switch the play. Hernandez.
Well, the crowd clearly like what they just saw. Some real no-nonsense defending. Too much elaboration and not enough penetration. No damage likely. Oh, real danger here!
That is terrific skill. Can he deliver? Varane gets it away. And he heaves it forward. Loose ball, who's going to get there? Griezmann. Mbappe. Matuidi. Mbappe. And it's Griezmann. Matuidi. Giroud. Got a shot away! And that certainly packed a punch. Rafael Varane plays it over to the other flank. Has he found his man? Giroud. Giroud not easily shrugged off the ball. Janoub has given away a free kick. Lecky. Played into space out wide. This is quite a run and he's not done yet. That'll be a corner. Moy plays it short.
Or a real terrier-like in midfield. He got sent off against Rangers earlier on in the season. But they sort of pretty much epitomise those players, the Australian team as I see them, you know, real grafters, hard workers. But I said before, I think they lack that real guile. Aaron Moy, I've seen a lot of this season. I think he's going to play in that holding role in midfield. But the only time he started the game at Celtic in that position this season, they lost at St Mirren, his former club. So it'll be interesting how he adapts. He is getting up to speed with regards to his fitness, but he's played higher up in midfield, more as a number 8 this season for Celtic.
Yeah, there is a historical link as well. In fact, Scotland took football to Australia in the 1920s. The Socceroos' first ever squad had 3 Scotland-born players, and 115 of the 954 players to feature for Australia were born in Scotland. So if you're listening in Scotland right now, this might be the team that you want to pin your hopes on. It's Australia, but tonight they're taking on the world champions in France, Julien Laurent. Everybody else asked the question, which France are going to turn up in this competition? Every World Cup, every European Championships is the question that non-French people will ask of the team. What do you want to see from France tonight, and which France is going to be at this World Cup?
As much as I would like to see Chris running back the 9 miles to the hotel after the game, I don't want
Great social content.
yeah, that's for sure. Viral that would go, I'm sure, especially if he's naked. We never know with him. What we're hoping in France, I think the message from Deschamps to the players, let's use all the tensions that we've mentioned already, the injuries, all of that, to get even more united, to get even more together, because the boys said it earlier, there's a lot of talent in that team. Sylia, of course, Konate, Upamecano, Rabiot, Tchouaméni have never played in a World Cup before. This is the big debut, and all eyes will be on them, but there's a lot of experience around them, including from World Cup holders, who can guide them, who can help them. And then if that clicks, if Kylian is at his best again, then I think they can go far. Of course, I mean, there's a math-watch ring quarterfinals potentially against England if they both finish first and win the last 16, which would be amazing. But I think to not have so much pressure on them because of all the injuries, and now we're saying they can't win it again. Surely they can't be favourite because of all the players missing. Maybe can play in their favour.
What's the French view on Deschamps, and where are the French public at with him?
The feeling and the thought is very much, he's been here a long time. You know, 2012 to 2022, 10 years as a head coach of a big country like this. Despite the successes and everything, it's a very, very long time. You saw Joachim Löw staying a bit too long in Germany. Maybe this is the one competition too many for Didier as well. I don't know. I don't think he will be there after. I think Zinedine Zidane is watching or listening to us on his sofa in Madrid, waiting for the position.
France win it?
Even if France win it. I think if France win it, Didier will say, this is the top. You know, nobody since Brazil in '62 have ever retained it. Now I can live as in the pantheon of football, and then Zidane will be ready to take over.
Julian, would he, if he does go at the end of the tournament, a bit like Gareth Southgate, there's talk of him going and potential of it being his last tournament, would he be remembered in sort of in a similar light? Would he be remembered well by the French fans?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, only 3 persons have won the World Cup as a player and as a manager, and he's one of them, and Beckenbauer, Zagallo are the other 2. So this is incredible, and I think he's liked in France. This is not the problem. It's just that we think, because we are also very demanding, that with the players that he's had through those 10 years, maybe there's a Euro that should have been there, for example, as well, and that wasn't. So we always want more as fans.
I'll tell you what he does deserve a medal for as well, because Chris told me, didn't he have to share a room with you once in a hotel?
Well, we were in a hotel together for 3 months.
3 months with you? I mean, that alone.
In the same room?
That's right, yeah, Chelsea, and now Bruce is sharing a month with me. We're getting on fine.
The water carrier, that's me, I'm the water carrier.
You were the Deschamps
carrier this morning, weren't you?
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to say thank you very much to Julien Laurent and Rob Green for now. They'll be back with us at half-time and at the end of the game as well. The fireworks display has taken place at the stadium ahead of this game between France and Australia. For this World Cup, it's very much no pyro, no party, and there's no party without Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, a very warm welcome to the Janoub Stadium. As we were saying, 9 miles south of Doha city centre. The world champions are in town. The red, white and blue flags are waving away to our left-hand side. There is this giant model of the World Cup standing on a stage right in the centre circle, spotlight shining upon it, and I've seen lots of those French fans in the stands around us holding those little replica models of the World Cup. They are the champions, but in recent World Cups, the following World Cup after you've won one has not been too kind to the previous winners. 4 of the last 5 champions have gone out in the group stages. That run actually started by France themselves back in 2002. It's been a day of massive shocks at this World Cup, with Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia. Are we going to see another one this evening? France, the world champions, against Australia. It is time for the French national anthem. With excitement, one side of the halfway line. Now they turn to their right-hand side. They exchange handshakes and high fives with the opposition. That is the world champions France this evening. France against Australia in Group D. Earlier on in this group today, Denmark 0, Tunisia 0. A 5th successive World Cup tournament for the Australians. That run started in 2006, and actually, funnily enough, 4 years ago in Russia, in Kazan, one of our favourite stadiums over there. Chris Sutton and I love the cooking pot in Kazan. This was a group opener then, and France won it on their way to World Cup glory by beating Australia by 2-1. Antoine Griezmann scored a penalty. Mile Jedinak, our guest tonight, equalised from the penalty spot, and it was a late Aziz Behish own goal that won it for France. So the music continues to blast. The tracksuit tops are off. Both teams are just having the pre-match photo taken with the national pennants in front of them. The flags are getting folded up, and we're just about ready to go. Argentina won Saudi Arabia 2 earlier on today, Chris. Looking at the 2 squad lineups, looking at the way in particular Australia had to fight tooth and nail. Their manager, Graham Arnold, said it was an incredible achievement, one of the greatest, just to get the country to this World Cup. It's a monumental task for them to try and beat the world champions tonight, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. Look, we know that Australia will be super competitive, they will be well organised, but have they got enough in forward areas? And of course they're playing the holders, France, who don't have their, or many of their big hitters, but they still have a side full of superstars, and they'll want to make a statement this evening, France, and just show people we are here. Yeah, we're missing a few, but we are still super strong.
Stadium is not full. Those French players missing this World Cup. Presnel Kimpembe at the back, N'Golo Kanté injured, Paul Pogba is out injured, Karim Benzema travelled, but then his injury ruled him out just before the tournament. Christopher Nkunku as well, injured in training ahead of this World Cup. France are ready to go. They're in dark blue shirts, gold numbers on the back, white shorts and red socks, and they're in the half away to our left-hand side. As we look down from on high. This game also on BBC One television tonight. Have a look for World Cup Extra on iPlayer if you want BBC pictures, but the 5 live commentary, you can marry those up during the World Cup for the games that are on BBC television. And actually those pictures start on the iPlayer, I think a good hour or so before kickoff, and you will get our coverage over those pictures in the build-up to the games during this tournament. The Australian players have broken from their team huddle, and we are ready to go. Real stamina needed for World Cup 2022. We hope you've been listening all the way through today. We started at 10 o'clock with that massive shock, Argentina, Lionel Messi and co losing to Saudi Arabia, and here we are just coming up to 7 o'clock this evening in the UK. The countdown is starting inside the stadium. Lovely, warm evening in Doha, and Olivier Giroud with the number 9 on his back passes the ball back to Aurélien Tchouameni, and we are underway, and we are at a very slow walking pace right at the start of the game. I will remind you the two team lineups in just a second. But France have the ball inside their own half. Ibrahima Konate of Liverpool, winning only his 3rd cap for his country tonight, playing alongside Upamecano. The ball is played forward to Kylian Mbappe. Those boots look golden to me. I thought Lionel Messi was wearing a pair of those earlier on today as well. So Mbappe wide on the left-hand side, Giroud through the middle. Here's Griezmann popping up on the right-hand side for France. And this fellow's a real box of tricks, Ousmane Dembélé of Barcelona. He beats Behish on the outside, heading for the byline. Crosses floated to the far post. Killed stone dead on his right instep by Mbappe. Twists and turns, left-footed ball into the near post for France. That is headed away. Early danger from the world champions.
Yes, the start we expected from France. I'll try and make a statement and get that early goal. Push Australia back. Australia setting up in a 4-1 formation. Moy just sitting in front of the back four, but I think we'll see Australia defend really deep.
The Australian fans, the majority of them, certainly those decked out in the national colours, are behind this goal away to our right. That is the goal Australia are defending. They have Matt Ryan in goal, winning a 76th cap for his country tonight, playing in his 3rd World Cup. Started every game in the last 2. Corner from Mbappe, flipped on at the near post, headed away by Behish. Dembélé hits it sweetly on the left foot volley. It hits Aaron Moy. The ball spins out into the Australian half. There's an interception inside their own half, and Australia try and get away down the right, and they're looking to win a free kick inside their own half. The challenge comes from Adrien Rabiot, and Australia get some early relief in the game. They do get that free kick. Didier Deschamps is standing just leaning on the edge of the dugout here. The stadium, I have to say, is relatively quiet in terms of atmosphere. There are still quite a few empty seats around. Australia have the ball inside their own half. Matt Ryan in goal for them. Nathaniel Atkinson of Hearts is their right back. Aziz Behish is the left back. He plays his club football for Dundee United. Australia have taken the ball up to the halfway line. Moy evades a couple of challenge. They still have it. The ball is driven across the French half, and then the strike from Riley McGree was optimistic from a central position 30 yards out, and he's dragged it well wide. Chris Sutton.
Middlesbrough's Riley McGree, and just snatched at the effort, got in at the back of the French midfield, right-footed, and pulled his shot well wide. What we do know, I don't think Australia will create too many clear-cut chances when they do come their way. They have to be clinical.
Craig Goodwin looking for a 1-2. He started wide on the left for Australia. Matthew Leckie is the other wide forward. Australia have won a throw. Attacking position on the left. Goodwin throws it straight into play. There is McGree again, tackled by Griezmann, and the ball goes out for another Australian throw on the left. So Atkinson and Behish, the two full-backs, Kai Rolls and Harry Suter, the two centre-backs, Aaron Moy in front of that back four, Jackson Irvine now playing his club football in the German second division with St. Pauli, alongside Riley McGree in central midfield, Goodwin and Leckie, the wide men, and Mitchell Duke, who plays his club football in Japan, playing as the centre-forward for Australia. Headed away by Lucas Hernandez. The ball drops inside the French half. Griezmann slides in, wins the tackle. Moy plays the pass to McGree. McGree with a low ball out to the left-hand side. Goodwin, one touch, and then cross comes in at pace into the French penalty area. Pavard just chips a ball down the right wing for France, but Dembele can't control it, and Australia have it again, and they're having a good spell early on in this game. McGree overhits his pass on the stretch. Goodwin won't catch that, and the ball goes behind for a France goal kick. 4 minutes gone in the first half here. France 0, Australia 0.
Yeah, it's been an okay start from Australia. You just wonder, France, whether they think that when they're looking around for some spark and something to happen. They had that couple of early efforts, crosses, but Australia have actually kept the ball well. And now they're pressing France quite high up the pitch.
Chris Sutton with us on 5 Live Sport and BBC Sounds. Looking forward to watching Chouameni again. Watched him at Celtic Park earlier on this season in a really good Champions League game between Celtic and Real Madrid.
I think that's going to be key for France in this competition, that area, central midfield. Can Chouameni and the likes of Camavinga step up?
Konaté's diagonal finds Mbappe. Mbappe speeding away down the left into that Australian penalty area. They just get enough bodies in the way to stop him, and it's Harry Suter who thumps the ball clear with his right foot. He has a real story to tell at this World Cup, does Harry Suter, and when we get a chance to tell it during this game, we will. Playing his club football for Stoke in the Championship, just back from a long-term injury and having to look after the likes of Giroud, Mbappe, Griezmann and Dembele this evening. 5 minutes played. France 0, Australia 0. Here's Pavard. Pavard didn't like the challenge on him from Adelaide United's Craig Goodwin. He came through the back of him, but Pavard had played the ball away. Now Upamecano's just slightly overhit the pass to the left-hand side. It goes whistling past Mbappe's left foot, and the ball is out for a throw into Australia in their right-back position. Let's just remind you of the French team. Hugo Lloris wins 140th cap for his country tonight. Now just 2 behind the record holder, Lilian Thuram. So if France progress as expected during this tournament, he will become the all-time record cap holder for France. A 16th World Cup appearance for him as well. That is just 1 behind the record of Thierry Henry and Fabien Barthez. Benjamin Pavard right back, Lucas Hernandez at left back, Ibrahima Konaté and Dio Upamecano the 2 centre-backs, Chouameni and Rabiot in central midfield, Dembele, Griezmann and Mbappe, and the big number 9, Olivier Giroud. Pass down the left for Australia. Golden shirts, green numbers on the back, green shorts and white socks. Back inside their own half. This is Kai Rolls, who's winning only his 4th cap for his country this evening. Stepped in when required in the really important playoff games in June. The wins against the United Arab Emirates to take them through to the big one against Peru, which they snuck through on penalties after a 0-0 draw. So they've played tournament football here in a sense recently in this country. The ball with Rolls and his left foot up towards McGree, chests it down. Goodwin tries to find him again down that left-hand side. Griezmann steps in, slips. Rabiot gets a foot in, clears the ball, and out it goes for a throw into Australia, midway inside their own half on the left.
France just haven't really got started, have they? It's very flat inside the stadium. It was quite lively before kick-off. It's not a full stadium, but as soon as the game started, it's very, very quiet in here, and
just trying to get it going, aren't they, the French fans away to our left-hand side? But it's not that natural football atmosphere that we are used to, is it, Chris?
No, it's absolutely not. But I mean, with regards to the French fans, the team need to play with the correct intensity, the desired intensity to get the fans up and give them something to cheer about. And all at the moment, it's very, very flat. And I think Australia, Graham Arnold, will be pretty happy with his team start.
Aaron Moy. So as Chris was saying, it's a 4-1-4-1, and Moy is the pivot. He's the one in front of the back four. Where's number 13? Very easy to spot.
It's like a training game, isn't it?
It does. It feels like that, Chris. It really does. The pace of it. And the lack of atmosphere, you have to say. Australia play the ball upfield, chested down by the centre forward Mitchell Duke. Upamecano makes the tackle. Australia have a throw on the left. Maybe an Australian goal might just spark things into life. But it's, yeah, if you take the headphones off your ear, and you can, you could shout over to the other side of this pretty cavernous stadium, and you imagine you'd probably be heard. Lovely diagonal ball to the right here for Australia. Cross comes in to the far post. Goodwin smashes it into the roof of the net. Less than 10 minutes played, and the world champions are rocked. France are behind. Craig Goodwin with an emphatic finish at the far post. It is France 0, Australia 1.
I'll tell you what, I said France haven't got started, but it's a brilliant goal. It really is. Suter with a wonderful long diagonal pass out to the right wing, and Matthew Leckie took a brilliant first touch and then had the composure to spot Goodwin at the far post, and Goodwin stayed really composed. First time, left-footed into the roof of the net. Is there going to be another shock on? Really brilliant finish it is. Leckie cuts inside, Hernandez gets his head up. Does it take a little deflection? The cross does take a slight deflection, but Goodwin in at the far post. Ruthless finish. I said Australia would have to be clinical. We've got a game on.
We certainly do. That is a real moment to savour for Craig Goodwin. 30 years old, only his 11th cap, and he has scored at the World Cup finals against the world champions, no less. Now, concerns for France on two fronts. They've conceded early in the game, but in the build-up to that goal, Lucas Hernandez, who was beaten by Leckie on Australia's right-hand side, fell awkwardly. I think he twisted his knee. He is in real trouble, flat on his back inside the French half. And things have started very worryingly for the world champions. The stretcher is straight out on the field. I mean, there'll be a really painful irony in the fact if he does have to come off, he may well have to be replaced by his brother Theo Hernandez. There was talk that possibly you could see a pair of siblings start for France at a World Cup for the first time since way back in 1930. Lucas Hernandez was regular left back in the World Cup 4 years ago. He's slowly getting back to his feet, and we're just watching a replay of exactly what happened. Leckie's first touch, Hernandez stretched and then couldn't actually make the challenge and went down grimacing, holding his right knee. Leckie carried on, played the fantastic ball right across the face of the French goal, and that was some finish from Craig Goodwin. Lloris had no chance.
Yeah, it was a wonderful finish. Goodwin just balanced himself beautifully. It was all about the connection. First time left-footed on the point of the 6-yard line into the roof of the net, back across Lloris. And I'm worried I might have to run back to the hotel, Bruce. 9 miles.
That's a really good point. In all the excitement, I'd completely forgotten that. There's a long way to go. We're only 11 minutes in. But if you are just tuning in, France 0, Australia 1 is the scoreline. And Lucas Hernandez is coming off, and it is his brother, Theo Hernandez, younger brother. Plays his club football for AC Milan. He was having a last drink of water. He'll be desperately sorry and worried to see his brother in the shape he's in right at the start of this World Cup. But France have got a game on their hands, as Chris was saying. They are behind against Australia, who have only ever won 2 of their 16 World Cup games. They're going to have to deal with this fella. Mbappe at full speed down the left. Cross comes into the near post. Rolls is there. Gets in front of his goalkeeper. Heads it behind. And that will be a corner to France. So France are going to be able to make the change. Theo Hernandez will come on for his brother Lucas Hernandez, and will slot straight in at left back. And he's actually the more attacking left back option of the two brothers. He gets a little high five from Upamecano, and we have to see how France can respond. Early setback for them, straight back on the attack. Corner here, trailing 1-0. Mbappe curling ball into the near post, headed away by Leckie, volleyed in by Theo Hernandez, his first touch of the game, cleared. Upamecano plays it out to the left-hand side. France always looking for Mbappe out there with his right foot. Cross comes in, flicked on by Rabiot. That bounces inside the Australian penalty area, and Matt Ryan comes running across, leaps up in the air, and falls to the ground with the ball nicely nestled in those blue and black gloves.
And you know what, in a funny sort of way, the goal may spark the French into some sort of life. I think it's maybe a really arrogant start from the French, thinking that, you know, they're just going to roll this Australian team over. But you always expect Australian teams to be committed and aggressive. Now they've got something to hold on to. Long way to go.
Well, we're into the heavy run of 4 World Cup games per day, 4 more coming your way on 5 Live and BBC Sounds tomorrow, but I can't imagine you would have had 2 shots together on the same day of this nature in any previous World Cup. Argentina beaten by Saudi Arabia early on, and Australia here 1-0 up against France in the Janoub Stadium. France on the ball in their dark blue shirts. Griezmann from deep plays a lovely curling pass out to Mbappe on the left-hand side. Low ball in is looking for Janoub. Australia managed to get it away. Leckie will chase that down the right. Griezmann is there first. And Griezmann plays back to Upamecano. Here's Rabiot. Long strides, take him across the halfway line. Now Pavard, the right back, is involved. Lots of French possession. Australia sitting inside their own half. They now have a lead to defend. 14 minutes gone in the first half, and here's Pavard in his light blue boots, head up, looking for an option. Dembele is wide on the right-hand side. He comes back centrally to Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni just dinks a delicious lobbed pass out to the left. He immediately gets that ball straight back from Hernandez, and Mbappe's made a clever run in the inside left channel. He's been found on the dribble again. Low cross comes in, nearly found Griezmann. Australia again get a body there, get something there, and the ball is cleared wide to the left-hand side, and then Theo Hernandez gives it away, and Mitchell Duke is back there, the Australian centre forward, just wondering what he can do with the ball. Decides not to clear it with his right foot, comes back to his goalkeeper Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan thumps it high in the sky, the ball is dropping. Upamecano wins the header, chested down by Rabiot. He's under pressure inside his own half, but he's going to be able to bring the ball away.
You see the French plan. Ball out to Mbappe and hope something happens.
Sloppy from Rabiot there, he's given the ball away. Aaron Moy bustling forward for Australia, just inside his own half on the right. Twists and turns his way away from Griezmann. Foul committed on Leckie. Australia win a free kick. They have started this game much the sharper, much the better. They have the lead. They've scored a fantastic goal. And as you say, the only plan for the French at the moment seems to be getting that ball wide out to Kylian Mbappe, who does obviously look incredibly dangerous whenever he gets it. Running at Nathaniel Atkinson of Hearts.
Yeah, and Atkinson not a regular for Hearts this season, fighting for his place against Michael Smith. But every time the ball goes out there, you can see Australia, they don't want to leave Atkinson isolated. Leckie working hard, Irvin working hard to get across, double, treble up. But that's been France's threat, only threat so far. It's a good threat.
16 minutes played. Matt Ryan's got the ball at his feet, the Australian goalkeeper all in light blue. Giroud comes jogging towards him. Ryan draws him in and then just picks the ball up. Thinks about slinging it out overarm like a pace bowler. Instead bowls it underarm like a crown green bowler, and Australia trying to play out from the back here, and they've worked it well. And here's the little left back Aziz Bahish, who's encouraged to come sprinting forward, tearing across the halfway line. Rabiot doesn't want any nonsense from him, just pushes him over, concedes the free kick.
It was a good driving run, wasn't it, from Dundee United's Bahish, taking the ball from level with his own box over the halfway line, drawing the foul.
Well, I gave the stat ahead of the game. 4 of the last 5 champions have gone out in the group stages in trying to defend their trophy. France 2002, Italy 2010 in South Africa, Spain in 2014, and Germany last time around, as France again attacking down the left with Hernandez looking for that cut back, can't find Giroud. Giroud is getting himself in those positions inside the Australian penalty area. They've just not been able to locate him as yet. Here's Jackson Irvine, who plays with the long hair tied back in a little bunch at the back of his neck. Crossfield pass comes across to the goal scorer, Craig Goodwin, who's definitely going to have a story to tell the grandkids later in life. The goal in Doha against the world champions that has Australia in front. Leckie up against Hernandez. The two of them go shoulder to shoulder. Hernandez, the stronger, he knocks Leckie over. He then comes away with the ball for France. Makes a good few yards, passes to his left. Here's Rabiot. Rabiot down the line to Mbappe. The French have been stung and they're trying to respond.
Do you know what I've got to say? Antoine Griezmann, he's been a joke so far. You can see every time Australia get the ball, they pop it into Aaron Moy and Griezmann just stands off him.
Dembele to Mbappe, looking for Janoub with the first-time ball. It comes back to Dembele from the clearance. He's in a central position, 25 yards out. Little left-footed pass to Mbappe, looking for Dembele again. Australia are on it and just about close the gaps in time. And suddenly the stadium is really starting to come to life.
They really narrow up the Australian back line. They're saying, you know what, you can have the ball in the wide areas, you cross the ball into the box, we will defend our box. We're not going to let you play through us in those central areas.
Upamecano playing the ball across the halfway line to his centre-back Ibrahima Konate of Liverpool. Only managed 4 first-team appearances for Liverpool so far this season. He's another one who's had injury problems. Rafael Varane named amongst the substitutes for France, but not fit to start, you'd presume, not being in this starting lineup. Pavard, quick pass, low out to his right to Dembele. Dembele comes dancing in off that right-hand touchline, ball across to Chouameni. Irvine, strong challenge, and the ball goes out for a throw into Australia. Chouameni went tumbling over the top of the challenge, 3 or 4 rolls from him, but it was a fair one, Chris.
Oh, ferocious, wasn't it? He's that type of player, Jackson. Irvine, all action, committed. That sums up the Australian start to this game and the French start. They're hungrier, the Australians.
Action Jackson and the Australian midfield. And it is the green and gold that are having the better of it so far. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. World Cup Daily is going to be a fantastic listen for you via the BBC Sounds app, with the news, of course, also today that Cristiano Ronaldo has now left Manchester United. Portugal against Ghana will be a 5 Live commentary for you on Thursday. At 4 o'clock kickoff as Ronaldo gets into World Cup action, but no longer a Manchester United player to that. So the reaction, analysis, debate in your World Cup Daily podcast, with, of course, all the reaction to Saudi Arabia's fantastic win over Argentina earlier on today. Are we going to see another massive World Cup shock here? The champions are behind. Goodwin's cross into the edge of the French penalty area, is headed straight up in the air. Goodwin challenges for it with Dembele. The ball goes bouncing around between the bodies. Dembele chases the pass forward from Griezmann, and it's played out by Rolls for a throw into France on the right.
We talk about the players that France are missing, but Dembele, who hasn't had a great deal of game time for France last season or two under Didier Deschamps, but £135 million player up against the hitch of Dundee United.
Australia looking extremely confident. Harry Souttar just came striding out of defence there to get onto the ball. He's a mammoth figure at centre-back. Mitchell Duke's going to try one. Oh! Very nearly found the top corner. The ball just broke to him in the middle of the French half. He looked up and fancied a pop, and Hugo Lloris wasn't sure there, went flying to his left-hand side, and Australia were not that far away from taking a 2-0 lead.
Sloppy French once again. I tell you, I thought this was in. It is inches away from Lloris's left-hand post. It just cuts across the ball slightly. Lloris throws himself to his left-hand side. He's not stopping that.
No, exactly. Just had that little bit of fade on it, having cut across it with his right foot. He just went swerving away from that left-hand post, and Lloris all in lavender Lloris this evening. Wasn't going to get there. Theo Hernandez under pressure from Leckie. Australia winning again high up inside the French half. Bringing it forward is Riley McGree. McGree plays it to the goal scorer Goodwin on the left-hand side. Back to Behish. Behish almost leaves the ball behind. Dembele comes in with the challenge. Behish manages to hold on to it. And now Aaron Moy plays back into his own half, and here's Behish.
They're just roughing the French up, aren't they? The Australians, far more aggression in their game.
Pass floated down the left-hand side. Riley McGree is going to battle there with Ibrahima Konate, but he's conceded the free kick. So midway through the first half, another massive shock on our hands. 2002, we were talking about it in our commentary last night because we were watching Senegal against the Netherlands. France, as world champions, having won in '98, famously lost that game against Senegal and went home, didn't manage to get through the group stages. Didn't even score a goal in that group in 2002. Plenty of time to change things this evening. Seeing plenty of the ball as well. And here's the main man, Kylian Mbappe. Can he make it happen? Mbappe trying to use his pace to get outside. Lecky on the left, he's done that by the byline. Stopped eventually there by Nathaniel Atkinson, who just went down like a sort of cricket fielder on the boundary. Put his left leg down on the floor, down on one knee, put his body on the way. How well it does. It's the barrier, isn't it? The barrier behind.
The long barrier.
The long barrier, as they call it, Chris, you're right.
I think the game's changed a bit now, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't feel like that anymore, do they?
In the 70s.
Pavard, diagonal ball is beyond Rabiot, it's beyond Mbappe. They've not really been able to find Giroud. Australia lead by a goal to nil.
You'd have seen Dennis Lilly, maybe Jeff Thompson.
Yeah, those sort of players. Exactly, Chris. And you have a hat, actually. You have a hat out here, don't you, to protect yourself from the sun, which would have fitted in well in that era, the sort of David Gower floppy, I would describe it as.
Yeah, I mean, we did see our producer this morning, who was more Billy Bowden. Billy Bowden, remember?
He gave you the Billy Bowden, he did, didn't he? Yeah, exactly. Here's Aaron Moy.
For his crooked finger.
Exactly. Moy's ball on the half volley, headed away by Pavard. France 0, Australia 1. And here's Griezmann. Griezmann in the centre circle, plays back to Rabiot, up towards Mbappe, who's able to get away at speed from Atkinson. Harry Souttar comes charging across, wins the ball, and knocks it straight out for a throw.
His positioning there, Harry Souttar, absolutely first class. Atkinson too tight to Mbappe, who just rolled him brilliantly, and then he's away. And Souttar got across into the channel. That was a timely clearance.
Pavard plays back here to Canate. Upamecano out wide to Teo Hernandez, and back to Upamecano again. All this action is taking place inside the Australian half. Pavard opens his body up, whips a low pass out here to Dembele. Dembele can't get past Goodwin. Goodwin makes the tackle. He's in the left back position. Australia clear the ball to the halfway line. They're having to soak up a lot of pressure at the moment, but they have the lead, and Matt Ryan yet to be forced into making a save. Ball again worked wide to the right-hand side. Dembele, Pavard starting to make the run beyond him. Dembele's cross into Griezmann, shot off balance, is blocked by Rolls, goes behind for a French corner.
Yeah, Griezmann has been pretty ineffective so far. It's a good forward run inside the box. Dembele found him, but good block by Rolls. Corner to France.
20 minutes to go in the first half. France trailing Australia by a goal to nil. Griezmann's corner headed away. The ball bounces once just outside the Australian penalty area. Played into the penalty area and headed in by Adrien Rabiot, and France are level. Curling cross, found him 6 yards from goal. He's not going to miss there, and the world champions respond. France 1, Australia 1.
Yeah, it's a thumping header, terrific header. It's all about the ball, though, wasn't it? I think it was Hernandez with the left-footed cross, and Rabiot timed his run perfectly. He came from the corner. The corner's cleared initially. Hernandez takes a touch. Rabiot. Yeah, the timing of his run is superb. 6 yards out, and he plants a header back across Ryan in the Australian goal. No chance for the goalkeeper. That's what you do. You go back across the goalkeeper in those situations, and Didier Deschamps punches the air. Maybe a bit of relief there.
Chris Sutton might be spared the 9-mile jog home in the end. France 1, Australia 1, 27 minutes gone in the first half.
I think there'll be massive disappointment from Graham Arnold. Don't concede from set pieces up. And as the ball's cleared, the Australian back line just switched off as they came out, and Rabiot exploited that. Brilliant timing of the run. An emphatic header, and the French have come to life.
They have. Didier Deschamps, hands in pockets, a little more engaged with the action now, comes out to the edge of the technical area. France have won a corner, they've taken it short. Griezmann back to Mbappe, cross into the penalty area. Souttar is there and heads it away. Throw in for France on the left-hand side. We were talking plenty about Didier Deschamps ahead of the game. Remarkable record as player and manager at the World Cup. Just one defeat in 18 games as player and manager for France. Famously captain in France with the trophy in 1998 and then winning it as manager 20 years later. Here they are 1-1 against Australia. Hernandez to Chouameni, now Griezmann, first time ball to Mbappe. Mbappe tries to stand the cross up, it's blocked, goes behind for another French corner.
Yeah, you can see they've gone up a couple of gears now, the French. They just sent Australia now, a really important phase for them. They've got to hang on in there, show that grit, that determination, that organisation, and defend another set piece here.
Griezmann is going to take this corner. Mbappe's been taking plenty of them from that side. This an outswinger with the left boot, just over the head of Konate. Runs to Dembele. Dembele switches it onto his left foot. Pacey pass across the face of the Australian box. Hernandez chases that. And Griezmann with his right foot whips another good ball in, and Janoub heads this one over the bar. He really had to stretch to get there and couldn't quite keep it down.
Yeah, he wasn't far away. It was a good ball in from Griezmann, right-footed. I think Janoub was half a yard offside anyway, but the cross slightly too high. Or Janoub hasn't had too many touches in this game so far.
He's got those little blonde highlights in the quiff at the front of his hair. Tall, chiselled figure, dark bushy beard.
Should he be having highlights at 36?
I think he can carry that off, Chris. I think I could have at 36. I don't think now.
Yeah, give it a rinse or two, Bruce.
Give it a go out here, possibly. Oh, miscue from Aaron Moy on the volley. Behish heads the ball down to him. Moy plays it forward with his left foot. Australia have barely got into the French half in the last 15 minutes. Took an early lead through Craig Goodwin. Rabiot with the equaliser for France, his third goal for his country. And we're at France 1, Australia 1 in your fourth World Cup commentary of the day on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 4 more coming your way tomorrow. Coverage starts from 6 o'clock as ever UK time. Rick Edwards over here for breakfast. Jürgen Klinsmann will be one of his guests with Germany in action tomorrow. Chris is going to be watching Germany against Japan. Jürgen Klinsmann is actually here this evening as well, a couple of rows in front of us. So he's going to be the guest on breakfast tomorrow.
I can't see him.
Just 2 rows in front there, Chris. Just about level with you. As France play a bit of keep ball inside the Australian half. Good pass to Griezmann, and his ball just in behind Mbappe, and Matt Ryan comes quickly off his line to go and collect it for Australia.
I think that's the first time we've seen Griezmann get in behind that Australian midfield in that little pocket and trying to prod a ball through. Doesn't work hard out of possession though, Griezmann. Always had the freedom just to get his head up, and you can see Griezmann there as Irvin gets on the ball, not really pressing him as he should be.
Oh, that's brilliant from Rabiot. Gets it back, plays it to Giroud, who gets his 50th goal for France, and that will be one of the easiest that he will ever score. France work it brilliantly in from the left-hand side, and Olivier Giroud is closing in on Thierry Henry's record. France were 1 down. They now lead Australia by 2 goals to 1.
Well, talk about shooting yourselves in the foot. That's exactly what Australia do. They're careless in possession. He's not going to miss that, Giroud. A lot has been made. No Benzema in this tournament. Big boots to fill. He's filling them so far. No goals at the last World Cup. It was Atkinson, actually, who got robbed of the ball. Clever little backheel, wasn't it, I think, from Mbappe. And Rabiot is onto it. He just stays composed, gets his head up, left-footed, feeds the ball to Giroud. Ryan had committed at the near post, and Giroud, what, 11 yards out centrally? Open goal. He can't miss. Actually comes off his right heel. 1 behind. Is he 1 behind now?
Yeah, 1 behind. He's on 50. Chris, half-century, which is some going in international football. Thierry Henry on 51. So 2 more goals and Olivier Giroud will be past him. Olivier Giroud winning his 115th cap for his country tonight. And going into tonight's game, having played plenty of major tournament football for France, it was 4 goals in 23 appearances in the tournaments going into this one. But that's another one to the tally. And France now lead Australia by 2-1.
Yeah, I think Rob Green before the game though made a very good point about Olivier Giroud. It's not just about goals, is it? It's his importance to the team, the way they play. He's unselfish, good focal point, has pace in and around him.
Balls with Ousmane Dembele inside his own half. Australia pressing a little bit higher up the field. Pavard has to play it back to Lloris. And sprinting into position is Upamecano, the left-sided centre-back for France, and very coolly dummies a pass back for Lloris, spins, clears with his left foot. Rabiot tries to bring it forward. He's tackled it, very nearly ran to Mitchell Duke inside the French penalty area, but he can't catch that, and it goes behind for the goal kick. Rabiot scored the first, made the second, Chris. And he's someone who sometimes gets a bit of stick, doesn't he, Rabiot?
Yes, I mean, what is it, heavily linked with Manchester United, wasn't he, Rabiot? I've always liked him as a player, knits things together nicely in that French midfield. And Juve was a really heavy, poor touch from Atkinson.
Lovely back heel from Mbappe again, matched by Hernandez, who fires his back heel back to Mbappe. He stops for a second, 15 yards inside the Australian half, lurking dangerously between their midfield and back four, but France at the moment working the ball from left to right, and it comes out to Pavard.
Yeah, now they've got a problem, haven't they, the Australians? This is exactly where France want to be. Looking at the French fans now, they're getting their tails up, popping the ball around with that pomp and that swagger, controlling the game. Australia have just got to hang on in there, not concede another one before half-time.
Canate, pass out to the right, finds Dembele. Dembele drops the left shoulder, brings it infield, finds Rabiot. Rabiot, like Giroud, a tall, majestic figure in the French shirt. Mbappe, little leap above the ball, another back heel, comes back to Chouameni. Chouameni in the inside left channel, just lays it off to Rabiot. France having some fun now. Griezmann on the outside to Mbappe. Mbappe working onto the right foot. Oh, Giroud was going to hit it, and Griezmann took it away from him.
It's good from Mbappe once again, and a lovely weight of pass, but chance gone for France.
France 2, Australia 1. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Your first commentary tomorrow on 5 Live and BBC Sounds is Morocco against Croatia, finalists against France 4 years ago. We've got a Mexican wave that is starting to make its way around the Janoub Stadium here at the moment as Chouameni, the 22-year-old, just running from left to right across the Australian midfield, and then Dembele's going to use his pace, knocks the ball past Bahish, gets the cross in, Mbappe hits it, Giroud on the rebound, underneath the shot and smashed it over the bar.
Yeah, we've talked about Mbappe's threat off the left-hand side for France. How about that from Ousmane Dembele on the right-hand side? Set Bahish up because he's like to come inside mostly this evening, but pushes the ball on the outside, turns it into a race, and Dembele, super quick, fired the cross in right-footed. Mbappe shot blocked.
Goal kick Australia. They took the early shot lead, now trailing France by 2-1. And the idea of the Mexican wave really has taken off. It's making its way around this tall two-tiered stadium at the moment, one with a retractable roof, which is not in place this evening. You can just see lots and lots of thick steel wires which are in place for the sort of tinted roof to come across when required.
What would you say the shape of this stadium?
I think it looks like a cycling helmet from the outside, Chris, or I would say one of those fancy Belgian chocolates, which I'm probably not going to mention by name, but they look like the seashells. It's got that sort of look about it, this stadium here. France 2, Australia 1. Sliding challenge from Chouameni, concedes the throw. Australia get it on the right-hand side, and they've somehow just got to try and re-establish a bit of a footing in this game.
The crowd have turned up all of a sudden, haven't they? It was so quiet, wasn't it, early on?
Well, they got more excited about Mexican wave than they have actually about World Cup football, and a couple of good goals from the French. First from Rabiot, second from Giroud. They are leading by 2-1, and here's Kai Rolls, one of the 2 Australian centre-backs. Things calmed down inside the stadium for a second. The Mexican wave is then applauded by the fans themselves who did it. Behish to Moy, back to Behish. France just stand off Australia at the moment, and Jackson Irvine comes deep, the number 22 for Australia. His light blue boots. Quick 1-2 with Riley McGree. Cross it comes here to Behish. Behish gets it back again from Kai Rolls.
Bit of a standoff, hasn't it, the last minute or so? Australia keeping the ball across the back, but France not pressing, letting the Australians have it, 10-20 yards outside their own box.
Here's Goodwin. Goodwin lofts the ball down the left wing with his right foot. Chouameni's got it covered here for France. Mitchell Duke just stands in his way, so Chouameni turns away from him, holds him off, and then the pass is blocked by the shins of McGree, and that goes out for a throw into France on the right. France 2, Australia 1.
Interesting watching the French centre-half partnership, Upamecano and Konate, who would know each other pretty well from their time together at Leipzig.
Yeah, Lloris playing the ball now out to Konate. Three of that French back four as it started this evening before Lucas Hernandez got injured. Now play for Bayern Munich, but two centre-backs, relatively untried at international level. Mbappe on the ball, dangerously, cross comes in, Dembele stretches, can't get it on target, and the ball spins off his right boot and goes wide for an Australian goal kick.
You feel for Neil Atkinson in that right-back position for Australia. When Mbappe's driving at him and he's isolated, he's in big trouble, but Mbappe has that awareness, that presence of mind to spot Dembele in and around the penalty spot, with too much pace on the cross. Just bounced in front of Dembele and he couldn't get a shot on target.
Goal kick for Australia. Matt Ryan sees Behish coming towards him. Dembele sprinting to try and close that down, nearly catches Ryan in possession. He got it back from Behish, clears it up to the halfway line. Header is flicked forward by Matthew Leckie. Chouameni very nearly runs into Ibrahima Konate. The big centre-back got out of the way just in time, and now France in control of the football. Australia just back off. They're going to let France have it there inside their own half. Now they move into action as Chouameni comes jogging towards the halfway line. Across it comes to Upamecano. Upamecano finds Chouameni. Chouameni to his right. Pass to Pavard. Strokes the ball. Back to Konate. Across to Upamecano. Griezmann's making the run for him. Looking for Mbappe. He's found him. Theo Hernandez was sprinting beyond him. Mbappe doesn't release it, plays back to Griezmann, across here to Chouameni, midway inside the Australian half, and now Pavard. At a 1-2 with Chouameni, and you feel like France are just toying with the Australians at the moment.
There's a purpose to their passing up until then.
Interception from Chouameni, gets it straight back from Janoub. Dembele in space on the right-hand side. Danger for Australia again. Low ball in, can't find Mbappe. Griezmann gets a deflection on the clearance. The ball falls to Griezmann again inside the Australian half. Back to Pavard. Here's Griezmann. And Griezmann quickly swings his pass low to Upamecano. Upamecano to Chouameni. Chouameni, nice ball to Mbappe, who suddenly popped up on the right-hand side, wide to Dembele. That pass is behind Mbappe, cleared by Australia. Dembele again enjoying himself, running at Behish. Behish thought he was fouled. Dembele's beaten him. Dembele into the box, lays it back. Mbappe suddenly faced up by three. Golden shots. Griezmann tries the shot wide. The leg back came from Mbappe, and Griezmann's just hooked it wide of the near post.
Yeah, I think Behish is protesting with the assistant. He says he was fouled, but Dembele popping the ball into Mbappe. How many back heels have we seen from Mbappe in the first half to Griezmann, who runs onto it and he pulls his shot left-footed wide of Ryan's left-hand post, which should really work. Ryan there, the Australian goalkeeper, decent opportunity there.
France have really picked up after a sluggish start. Shock start to the game with Craig Goodwin giving Australia the lead. Looking forward to hearing more from Julien Laurent on 5 Live Sport this evening. French throw inside their own half, wide on the left. Theo Hernandez gets ready to take. Another player lost to injury for France this evening. Lucas Hernandez going off early, seemingly in some trouble with his right knee in the build-up to that Australian opener. Here's Griezmann inside his own half. Pass finds Konate. Konate running forward. That's a poor ball. He was looking for Mbappe. It was nowhere near him. That's a nice turn from Riley McGree for Australia. Good win. Plays back into his own half. Kai rolls across to Harry Souttar. Souttar to Atkinson now. Matthew Leckie. Back to Aaron Moy inside the Australian half. Mbappe goes jogging towards Kai Rolls here. And now Jackson Irvine up the right to Atkinson. Atkinson infield to Moy. France work hard to win the ball back. Rabiot lays it off to Hernandez. Pass comes back to Upamecano and they work it back to goalkeeper Hugo Lloris.
I think that's the difference. You know, the French now, when they're out of possession, working harder, and at this moment in time it's wave after wave after wave. The Australian team need to be brave though and show for the ball, and they're not doing that, and it's very easy for France now. They've got a grip of this game finally.
Minute left in the first half. Big football news this evening. I was going to say away from the World Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo was at the World Cup, but if you haven't heard, Cristiano Ronaldo has parted ways with Manchester United, looking for a new club, no longer a Manchester United player. Reaction, of course, in your World Cup Daily podcast. If you're not subscribed to that, get to the BBC Sounds app and make sure you do it. Floated ball, looking for Griezmann, chests it down, flicks the cross in, and Mbappe volleys it over from 5 yards out when he looks certain to score.
How has he missed that? Mbappe, big smile on his face. It's a clever run from Griezmann, who pulls out on the right-hand side. And he makes it a darting run. Upamecano clips a ball in. Griezmann, one touch off his chest and feeds the ball outside of the left foot. It's beautiful for Mbappe, who, you know what, he can't miss that. 6 yards out centrally, right-footed Didier Deschamps cannot believe it. I mean, that's a mind the windows moment from Mbappe.
Deschamps probably thinking that's like my old mate Chris Sutton. Mbappe
I wasn't as quick as Mbappe.
Should have backheeled it, Chris. Shouldn't he?
What a miss.
Yeah, it was a bit. Should be 3-1. It's 2-1 to France, but they are...
Missing the tournament so far,
yeah,
do you think?
Could be, couldn't it? I mean, we've not done all the games, but, you know, very close range, laid on a plate for him. He was moving at speed. 6 minutes of added time. I mean, there's a bit of time lost to the early injury to Lucas Hernandez. That does seem a lot at the end of this first half. I'm sure Graham Arnold's going to be too delighted about that, the Australian head coach, unless Australia can come forward here and find an equaliser. Behish plays it to the left. McGree trying to keep it in, gets the cross in to the far post, headed down! Oh, it's grazed the outside of the post. Jackson Irvine very nearly makes it 2-2.
Well, there you go, it's all it takes. The miss at one end from Mbappe. Jackson Irvine is so unlucky. It's a really good move on Australians' left-hand side. Behish feeds the ball to O'Reilly, who just stands the ball up from the byline, and Irvine gets up. He must be 12 yards out, is going backwards, and he heads the ball back across Lloris, who isn't getting that, and it hits the post. Bounces once, hits the post. Agonising for Irvine and Australia.
Jackson Irvine very nearly making himself a hero, winning his 50th cap this evening. Born in Melbourne, he's got that sort of look of the Aussie larrikin about him as well, with the moustache, the thick bushy moustache on the top lip, a bit of the Cam Smith about him, if you know your golf. Kai Rolls, centre back.
David Boone?
No, it's not quite Boone-like.
Merv Hughes?
Yeah, not quite that, with those proportions. France 2.
We'll give him time.
Australia 1.
It was a terrific header anyway, wasn't it?
It was.
No pace on the ball, just chipped up, and he has to generate the power and the accuracy, and Lloris was not getting that.
Very entertaining first half. Julien Laurent telling us, of course, before the game, France do go deeper into the tournament, slightly worried about how they will hold up defensively, and we've seen them breached early on in the game. Could very easily have been 2-2. Here's Aaron Moy, right-footed ball. Duke will chase it, but he can't keep that in. Wide down the left, Behish was there as well, beyond him, and it goes out for a French throw. So 4 minutes of added time remaining. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. You're listening to France 2, Australia 1. We brought you already today Argentina 1, Saudi Arabia 2, Denmark 0, Tunisia 0, Mexico 0, Poland 0, and 4 more commentaries on the way tomorrow. Morocco against Croatia at 10. Germany, Japan, Chris and Ian Dennis with that one at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Spain get their World Cup underway at 4 o'clock UK time. Vicky Sparks alongside Rob Green for Spain against Costa Rica. And then Belgium, Canada in Group F is your 7 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night. Mitchell Duke chasing the long ball downfield. Konate's with him. Konate wins it, knocks it out of play. Australia win a throw late in this first half.
Got a really lovely range of passing. Harry Suter there just stepping in and clipping another long ball. Duke on the end of it making a channel run. Australia win a throw.
3 minutes remaining, added time at the end of the first half. France leading Australia by 2-1. Rabiot can't quite win that back. Leckie holds him off. Leckie's ball out to the left-hand side, headed away by Pavard. Dembele, I think, will be able to keep this in. And he's ready to get motoring. And those Australian players are chasing him, but they're not going to catch him. Then, eventually,
McGree did really well. Dembele was away from him.
McGree got there in the end, didn't he? He did. Tchouameni back here to Konate. Konate across to Teo Hernandez. Had to run hard to keep that in. There's a little back heel from him to Mbappe. Anything you can do, I can do better. Mbappe and Tchouameni just have a couple of fairly superfluous little 1-2s, having a bit of fun. Mbappe ran towards him. France have it inside their own half. Upamecano under pressure. Comes across to Pavard. Pavard gives it back to Upamecano. France have been forced a little deeper into their own half here. And now they can start to work their way upfield. The ball at the feet of Ibrahima Konate. Pavard to his right finds Griezmann. Back to Tchouameni. Tchouameni just casually rolls the ball across the halfway line. Upamecano comes ambling forward. Pass out to the left to Hernandez. Mbappe sprints towards him. First touch, the best from Mbappe. Enabled Australia to take it off him. Here's Aaron Moy. Good run being made down the by Leckie. Then he stopped, and then Moy played the pass for the initial run.
Miscommunication there. Aaron Moy's had a pretty decent first half. I think the disappointment from Graham Arnold will be a corner coming out, switching off, and then trying to play out from the back, and Atkinson with a heavy touch. That's the story of the first half, really. Got themselves in front, something to hang on to.